in construction course in Harmony. Chalmers is going to speak remotely.
Everybody. Ooh, you're flying on fast. Good stuff. I'm gonna give it 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Ooh. Look at all you beautiful people. Oh, looking so gorgeous. We'll look at all your faces for a few minutes. Gonna give it 1 more minute. Dropping like flies, I'm telling you. 20% of you are gonna finish this strong. Congratulations on being part of that 20%, you guys. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Look at all you gorgeous people. I see y'all working out on treadmills. All right, 1 more minute. I had to pray a lot about what I was going to talk about tonight. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah? Good. Turn it up? Or can you hear me okay? Okay, we're good. Good, because I kind of have a headache. All right. Okay, I'm ready to go. You guys ready to go? All right, let's rock and roll. What day is it? Tuesday? I don't even know what day it is. What time zone am I in? Okay, I'm back in Arizona, so we are 6:30 Pacific time on October something. I don't even know. It's October that I know. We are in week 7, you guys, of our 90-day game plan. And how many of you, by a show of hands, are not feeling it? Totally okay. Totally all right. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, many. Yep, that's about normal. I know. We forgot what it felt like to be in Las Vegas and, you know, pumping it up and doing all that good stuff. And that's usually what happens. But the good news is you all are still here in the game. We had, gosh, well, we're still doing pretty good. We're about 70%. I'm sorry, 40% still in the game, according to the numbers on here. And I realize so many people watch this on the live stream, but I applaud all of you guys that make the time, put it in your calendar at the beginning of the 90-day game plan and have showed up every week, because a lot of people aren't doing that. And I know life happens and things happen, and I even had to adjust 2, 3 of the dates because of things happening. So I understand that. But keeping that commitment to yourself is really, really important. And I'm really glad that I committed to doing this, because Lord knows I probably would have been like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm just being really transparent with all of you guys. So, you know, keeping your commitment long after the feeling has worn off is a big deal. So you guys are doing it. Eric Worre, we talk about him at the beginning. Oh, shit. I almost dropped something behind me. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. Eric Worre, sorry for the kids on the thing. Eric Worre at Celebration, we talked about the qualities of great leadership. And boy, did it knock my socks off, so much so that I have committed 10 of our weeks at the front end to talk about one of those topics every week. And number 7 on his list was being unreasonable. And I wasn't sure what he meant by that when he was talking about that. Oh, I'm gonna mute everybody, sorry. I wasn't sure what he meant by that when he was talking about it. I was like, well, that's kind of jerky. But when he started to talk about what being unreasonable meant, I was like, oh yeah, I'm down with that. That put my name on that one, because I'm right there. And many of you may not know what he meant by the quality of a strong leader when he said that you must be unreasonable. And I'm going to paint this scenario for you. How many of you guys have written out your why, done a vision board, even maybe had an accountability partner and said, this is what I'm going to do, and then somebody comes and stinks on your parade, or you have mom guilt or dad guilt, or, somebody tells you, you probably should get a real job. And all of a sudden, all that stuff, you kind of, oh, maybe they're right. Oh, this or that, instead of standing up for what you really believe in. How many of you are guilty of that? At least when it comes to this. Most of you, I would say, because I know a lot of you. I know it. And it's okay. This is part of the growing process. We didn't all come out of the womb strong leaders. It's developing skills. It's, going through really crappy stuff. Some of my crappiest moments have developed me into the strong leader that I know I am today. And before this whole journey, before 4 years ago, I wasn't unreasonable with what was important to me. I wasn't, because I felt guilty. I felt like, oh my gosh, that's selfish. Oh my gosh, that's conceited. Maybe you're struggling with that feeling. I don't know. I can't speak for you, and I'm not going to pretend to read your mind, and I'm not even going to attempt to it. But if any of this is stirring something up for you, I want you to kind of start writing stuff down as we go. But you have to be unreasonable with what you stand for, what you believe in, what you want. Because if you aren't unreasonable about it, how do you ever expect anybody, A, to believe you, or jump on board with you? I mean, for reals, they want to know you're going to be in this for the long haul. And, I'm getting my inbox flooded with people that have told me, oh, I started with so-and-so and they disappeared, and, I'm left an orphan. I get about 5 a day of just that. And I'm not going to give them an out. So what? If you want this bad enough, all the resources and tools are there for you. You don't need somebody holding your hand doing this for you. In fact, that has probably been one of the biggest assets I've ever had, is that I decided to go for this, figure it out, find that strength within me and go for it. You don't need somebody holding your hand, mentoring you to make this work. And so if you're using that as an excuse for not doing the work, then I'm going to just tell you to look in the mirror and own that, because that's on you. We have all the skills and tools at our fingertips if you want to take the time to learn. And if you're unreasonable about what you want, nobody and nothing and no obstacle can stand in your way. It is really that simple. I know that sounds easy for Tracy to say, but let me tell you, 4 years ago, that was not an easy thing for me to say. It was very difficult, long before any of you showed up, when it was just me in a house, not sure how I was going to pay for it, with 2 children looking at me like, Mom, what are you going to do? Was it easy for me to say be unreasonable then? No, but I freaking did it anyway. I said, this is what I want. You're not going to worry. You're going to be a kid. Mom's going to take care of business. We're going to make this happen. And you know what happened? Obstacles showed up. Lots of them. Lots of people that love me very much said, you know what, Trace, maybe you should rethink this. You know what, Trace, why don't you do the responsible thing and get a real job with benefits and 9 to 5 and blah, 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 blah. Obstacles came up. People that I love walked out on me. Real obstacles came up. Health crises developed in my family. Obstacles, distractions, you name it. And when you stand up for what you are believing in and you are unreasonable, let me tell you, the arrows come at you. People are threatened by that because honestly, and this is the God's honest truth, people will see you standing for something you believe in, and most often than not, they resent the fact that you're doing it because they're not doing it themselves and they wish they were. They wish they had the balls to do it. And that's why the arrows usually fly. Now, are you going to let them take that power away from you? Nobody has any power over you and you crushing your goals unless you give it to them. That's just the facts. And I either could have laid down and said, my situation is so hard and this and that, and everybody hates me and nobody likes me, and done what looked normal to everybody else. Or I could be unfreaking reasonable and say, you know what? You don't believe me? Just watch. I'm going here. You're coming with me or you're not. I love you anyway, but peace out, Boy Scout, because I'm taking this all away. And can you imagine what would happen if I believed them and just wasn't unreasonable? Can you imagine? Many of you wouldn't even be here. And that would be really, really sad, not just for me, but for you. mean, my life has been so blessed by all of you. It really, really has. Each one of you, all the faces that I'm looking at have touched my heart in some way. Just sit on that for a second. Like, are you really giving up your power because it's uncomfortable? Because when people say things, is it really uncomfortable? Sure is. Standing up for what you believe in gets really uncomfortable. And you better get used to it. If you're looking at your vision board right now saying, oh my gosh, I put so much stuff in front of that. I put so much stuff in front of that. You have to really own it. And I'm going to be hammering this on you. I'm getting hard. You know, we're week freaking 7. Have you even touched any of your goals yet? I haven't. I'm being honest. I haven't even touched mine. It pisses me off. And you know what? I have nobody to blame but me. So if you are being reasonable because you're afraid of what people may say, or you know, people are giving you the pushback, then I really strongly encourage you to put a mirror in front of yourself and ask yourself if you really, really want this. And if you don't, guess what? I'm going to love you anyway. The people around you are going to love you anyway. This is not about loving you or caring about you. This is about making the commitment to yourself and keeping it. This is about doing what you said you were going to do long after the feeling wore off. This is about when the rubber meets the road, are you going to take care of business? Are you going to be unreasonable? Because that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And you know what? When you're unreasonable, you know what happens sometimes? It can get pretty lonely. It does. It does, because more often than not, most people in the world dream small, or they don't dream at all. And they're super threatened by people that are living loud, and especially when they start to back up what they're talking with the walk, that's when it gets really threatening to people. Because they're like, holy crap. You know, in the beginning when you're talking a big game, they're like, they're just waiting to call you out on your stuff. Trust me. But when you actually start to walk the walk you talk, all of a sudden they're like, holy crap, she's really doing it. Holy crap. I had written her off. That's what they're saying about you right now. That's what they're saying about you. They're writing you off. Are you going to let them? Are you going to be mad about it and be unreasonable? That's what being unreasonable means. So, you know, most of you that know me know that I am unreasonable. I don't allow excuses. You know, I understand things happen, but you have to own that. Totally okay. I've had to own stuff. And, you know, either you want this or you don't. There's really no gray area. And if you want to do this slow, that's totally okay too. I think that's awesome, because that is realistic for most people, right? Like, I'm not thinking everybody has to go to the speed of a rocket ship. You just have to be consistent and do the work. Doing nothing is not okay. Ever. No matter what life throws at you. That's the truth. Because life does happen. And I guarantee you, if you were told tomorrow that you needed to come up with a certain something in order to cure cancer for yourself or a family member, you would do whatever it took to make that happen. Right? But why is it when it comes to this? Because it's such uncharted territory maybe for you, or it's super uncomfortable, or it is out of the status quo that all of a sudden we kind of, we're going to take a back seat and maybe just put this on the back burner. And I'm going to touch on this kind of subject later, because this is an area in my life that I kind of struggled with and still do. I mean, this is one area where I try to find balance, and it's not very easy. So we'll get back to that. So any of you feeling really uncomfortable right now? A few. Totally okay. That means you're growing, so congratulations. Congratulations, those of you that maybe even don't like me very much right now. You're like, crap, 15 minutes in and she's already hammering on us. Yes. Yes, I am. I'm helping you grow, I promise. My job isn't to have you like me. But you signed on for this, so you can click me off at any time and move on with your life. Totally okay. You know, I am all aboard working with those that want to grow and get uncomfortable. because I'm willing to do that every day. I really, really am. And you know what, there are days I just don't feel like it, and I do it anyway, because that's the commitment I made to me, to my children, to all of you. And I want to ask you, who have you made the commitment to, and maybe who are you letting down if you don't continue to move forward? Okay. Okay, let's all take a deep breath. Got this? I see many of you giving me the dirty fish eye. I see it. I'm watching you. I'm watching you. Okay, so one of the topics that I wanted to talk about tonight is mindset. And I'm going to get very specific because I am looking at many of you, and I know many of you have no problem enrolling people and getting them started. There are many, many of you that have enrolled probably more than me, honestly. I don't enroll a ton. I'm a consistent enroller, but I am not a massive enroller. I'm a relationship builder. That's kind of the way that I've always worked long before Isogenics. In every kind of sales position I've ever had, I was not a turn and burn kind of girl. I was like, give me 5 and I'll make them all rock stars kind of person. And that's kind of how, thankfully, because of our compensation plan structure the way it is, that works. That works just as effectively as if I enrolled 100 people and 10 did it. But I would much rather work smarter, not harder. Not sure about you. I can't answer that question for you. I would just be safe to assume that most of you would rather work smarter than harder. Yeah? Yeah. And if you're not shaking your head, then I don't know. I don't want to burn through my list. Do you? I plan to be on this till be doing this till I die. So I've got quite a few years ahead of me, God willing, and I'm going to have to keep working my list. So if I can maximize my list, that probably is a good thing, right? How many of you feel like you've burnt through your list? Keep your hand up if that's you. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Okay, not a ton. That's good. That's a few. Some of you are kind of like doing that. I don't really want to raise my hand because maybe she'll call on me kind of stuff. And don't worry, I will. I've barely touched my list, if I'm being completely honest. And the reason why is because I believe I've cast a vision from day one, long before anybody knew who I was, long before I had even $500 made by Isogenics. I was casting a vision so massive that people believed me. And I believed me. That's the difference. This is where the rubber meets the road, is week 1 in Isogenics, when I made the decision. Again, I made the decision. I was unreasonable about this decision. I knew I was taking this all the way. I was going to be unstoppable. I had no clue how, but it didn't matter. And so many of you are focused on, I don't know how I'm going to do this, so how can I cast a vision if I don't know how to do this? Any of you feel like that? I'm telling you, it doesn't freaking matter. But you have to believe it with all you've got. I've watched some of you talk about the vision to people, and I'm like, I don't believe them. I don't believe the word you're saying. I mean, you're talking a good game. You're saying all the right words. So many of you are so focused and fixated on saying the right thing that in your heart, in your gut, you don't even believe it. And so you're wasting all your time with the right pretty words. But if you don't believe it in your gut, I'm telling you right now, people feel it. They aren't stupid. We have this thing called intuition for a reason. And if you think you're the only one in the world that has an intuition or a gut feeling, you're mistaken. The people you are talking to feel it too. And even if you're saying all the right pretty words and your posture, your belief isn't congruent with that, they're reading right through you. And yeah, they may enroll with you in Isogenics, and they may love our products, and they may, cleanse with you and, shoot back an e-shot with you. But are they going to link arms with you and take this all the way? Probably not. Because they don't believe you're going to be around very long. They don't believe that you're going to take this all the way because your posture is saying everything opposite. And I'm just telling it like it is. Are you going to be in that 2% that believes it? I believed it long before I knew what the hell I was doing. I knew it week 1. I envisioned it. And every day I said, I'm going to freaking crush this. No clue how. Honestly, I still don't know how I did it some days. Just being honest. But every single person I talked to, especially from week 1 on, they're like, you are batshit crazy. But I believed you. I believed you, and I joined you, and I watched you, and I linked arms with you. And you're doing exactly what you said you were going to do, and you're figuring it out as you go. And I promise you, you will be more relatable and duplicatable if you figure it out as you go with these people, but with that belief that is unshakable and unreasonable. That is the important part. The unshakable, unreasonable part is way more important than saying the right freaking thing. You have to believe this with all your heart. And you have to be putting the work in when you're believing in it. Not sure how you're going to do it. And if you're not getting results, it doesn't mean you just keep throwing crap up against the wall hoping something sticks. You know what works. Talking to people, like caring about them, making this about them, believing it with all your heart, rinse and repeat. It's really not that difficult. It's very, very simple. It's not easy. It's hard work. It's emotional work. It's grueling work some days. It's so unsexy. It's so unsexy. But you know what you need to do, and I see so many of you guys show up at events, you take really great notes, you write a bunch of stuff down, and then I see you trying all these new things. When all you need to do is keep it really simple. You care about people, you love them, you believe this, you work on you at the same time as you're working. You don't personally develop and then go figure this out. You develop yourself as you go. I promise you that is way more appealing than figuring this out and acting like an expert and saying all the right things, but in your gut, you don't even have any clue or belief that you're going to do this. It's just the truth. Is your mindset there? I'm looking at your faces and you're looking pretty sad. I see some smiles now. And I know you're probably like crap, she's talking right to me. Any of you guys feel like I'm talking right to you? It's okay. I'm not Judge Judy right now. I just care a lot about you guys. I really, really do. I care about you guys. I care about your families. I care about your teams. I care about the people you've brought along. I care about watching you say you're going to do something and then you don't. And I know what that does inside. And I know that many of you will isolate and hide out because you're like, crap, I said I was going to do this. And I know she knows I'm not doing this. And I don't even want to face her. I don't want to face the people that I've said I was going to do this for. I don't want to face anything. But I care so deeply about you. And I'm telling you, you know what? It's totally okay if you've done this, but when is enough enough? When is the pattern of self-sabotage enough? When is the pattern of making a commitment and breaking it to yourself? I mean, many of you are keeping your commitments to other people and you're faking your way through it, and you're resentful as you do it because you're like, crap, I wish I didn't promise this. You've over-yesed yourself to things that aren't good for you, aren't good for your business. You're dragging people along that really don't give a damn. But because you figure that's what you need to do, you keep doing it, and it doesn't serve you. And the people, the rock stars that are waiting for you to show up, they're watching you like, what the heck is she doing? What the heck is he doing? You're not serving anybody by doing this, okay? I know that many of you, like, it's really hard to believe that you can take this all the way. I know that's a stretch for a lot of you. And I know when I said it out loud for the first time at day 7, it scared the crap out of myself. I scared the crap out of myself. I was like, oh no, what did I just say? Like I said something out loud. Because honestly, I never, ever, ever used to say anything out loud because of exactly what I'm saying, because then I'd be found out. Because then, holy crap, people are going to know that my word isn't gold. And honestly, to me, your word is everything. If your word isn't gold, then what the heck do you stand for? And so I don't take what I say very lightly. I don't just throw lip service out there. If I make a commitment, It's on. And so when at day 7, I said, I'm taking this all the way. I don't care who gets in my way. I'm going to be unshakable. I'm going to be unstoppable. I'm going to be bulletproof. I was like, oh no. I just said that out loud. Now I got to do it. And it was scary and terrifying. And, I believed it. My first event, it was a month in, I wrote out the check to myself for what I needed to just cover the bills. And I wasn't even close to that at the time. I was literally about a month away of like, oh my gosh, like, where am I going to live in a month? And I know maybe for some of you that it isn't that desperate. Maybe for some of you it is. Maybe some of you have such a big safety net. You're like, this sounds like a good idea. I'd like to retire my husband or my wife, or, it'd be nice, but, this is still comfortable. This is what I know. I didn't have that situation. And so when I made a big, bold goal, like I said, it was either do it or go back to the car business, which pretty much was a death sentence. And I didn't want to do that. And so I had to keep my word, and I had to find in myself the belief that I could do it. And that's where a lot of you are struggling, is you believe in network marketing. You've watched even me and some of your close friends have some success at it. You've watched people that you've gotten to know take things pretty far and change lives and change their body, change their bank accounts and all sorts of stuff. But do you believe that you can do it? And I'm looking at the eyes of many of you that have had some pretty deep conversations, and I know that answer is no. What are you going to do to make that shift? Because it has to happen. That is, before you learn you plus two, them plus two, before you learn how to post on social media, like, you have to find out what you need to do in order to make that shift, that you believe you can do this. Because that is the game-changing moment. Because once you make that shift, I'm telling you right now, you will be unstoppable. You will be unreasonable. You will have laser sharp focus. And that's when the magic happens. And unfortunately, I wish I could give you a template to find that belief that you can do this, because there isn't one. But I'm telling you right now, I believe you can do it. I really, really do. I've seen so much in so many of you long before you saw anything in yourselves. And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn, but there were people in my life long before any of you showed up that did that for me. And I think back to those conversations when I used to sit across from them at a desk and hear the words that they would say to me. I was like, you're freaking crazy. Like, how do you even see that in me? How do you even see that in me? Because I seriously am struggling even getting out of bed in the morning. I seriously have a hard time looking my children in the face because I have no idea how I'm going to make anything work. So I get maybe some of you are in that position right now where you're like, Trace, really? You see that in me? And I'm here to tell you, yeah, I freaking see it in you. And I can't give you a template to make you believe it. All I need to tell you is that you can. You can. Find it. Find it. Stop looking for the magic, magic words to say or anything like that. The magic is when you believe that you actually can do this, no matter how slow, no matter how fast, no matter who shows up and no matter who leaves, that you can do this. You can do this. And I promise you, when you start to believe it in yourself, anybody you come in contact with is going to feel it. They may think you're batshit crazy like they did me. Totally okay. When they start to say you're crazy, then you've got it. I promise you, you've got it. And that's when you celebrate and get to work. Because seriously, that's when it gets really, really fun. It really, really does. I used to make people think I was crazy before to intimidate them. This is, pre 4 years ago. I used to power trip. I sounded a lot like I do now, but it was coming from a place of insecurity and it was coming from a place of fear. And I didn't believe one damn word I was saying. And you know what? People felt that. And so I would be even more powerful and intimidating to just push them away. Because the faster I could get them out of my zone and the faster I could get them out of my way so they couldn't really call me on the real stuff, the better. The difference between now and then is I absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, believe everything I say. I am so comfortable with who I am. I'm unapologetic about who I am. I know I'm put here to love you, to serve you, to care about you, and for no other reason. I really, really do. And do you have that same attitude when you go into your business? Or are you looking for how and what you're going to get out of it? And I know I've been asked a lot of times, well, Trace, you were almost without a home. You didn't know how you're going to pay the bills. How were you able to just not care about what you were going to get out of it? And the answer is I just knew that if I did right by people, it would happen. If I had the work ethic that I was raised with. I mean, I was born and raised to work like a freaking workhorse. I was. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God I had that going for me. But the fact is when I was starting, even when I was broke as a freaking joke, all I did was wanting to, I swear to you with everything, I swear on my kids, I swear to God that I seriously just wanted to serve people, and I knew that God would provide if I did the work too. I didn't just pray for it and say, let's hope this thing works. Faith without works is dead. I believed it with all I had, but then I went to work. And I worked on me at the same time, and I was really transparent. And I was very honest. I was like, listen, I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I know I care a lot about you, and I would really love to do this with you and learn as we go. Wouldn't you agree that that's pretty endearing? Rather than somebody says, I know the way, follow me, I'm going to do it. And then you're setting this expectation that if they don't do it like you do, then they suck at life. Do you realize when you kind of come into this knowing everything or acting like you know everything and that you're going to just change their life, and all of a sudden they have a bad day or bad moment, or they don't follow through with what they said they're going to do, that because you have set this tone that they're all of a sudden going to disappear and you're never going to hear from them again, and you're going to wonder what the heck happened? Do you agree that if you kind of go into this, listen, I don't know everything about everything, but all I know is what's worked for me, and I would love to help you figure this out alongside me? That is something that's a little bit more welcoming. And I mean, it's still, I'm telling you right now, my standards are really high. I set a very high standard. And because I set a high standard, most people will live up to it. They'll come really close. But if your standards are low, people won't rise up above your standard. But because my standards are really high, even if we're figuring this out together, which I'm still figuring this out with you, that's why we're doing this, because I'm figuring this whole thing out too, even 3 years later. But you're all showing up. You're keeping your standards high because mine is, right? Do you agree? Am I losing you? Yeah, I'm losing you? Or no? I'm just keeping it real, you guys. I really could be filling you with a bunch of like techniques and tools, but really, is that going to serve you? Absolutely not. I'm not about slapping Band-Aids on things when you've got a gaping wound that is just going to spill right through it. So let's get to the real heart of things, which is this stuff. Would you agree? I would agree. I don't care if you don't agree, because it's the truth. I'm just telling you. It is the truth. This is the stuff that will make you a 2%er. This is the stuff. I could sit and show you U plus 2, then plus 2 all day long. You already know how to do that. You do. Right? Yes, you do. And if you don't, there's templates and tools and videos and all sorts of stuff for it. It's a waste of your time if I do that, because you already know that. The real stuff is in your heart and finding that belief. And if you aren't sure where you're being held back, you're going to have to really expose some stuff. And one of the things I've been working on, I'm really kind of excited about down the line in the future. I love personal development. How many of you guys love personal development and go into all sorts of stuff? How many of you guys were in Vancouver? Many of you were. And one of the things I love about personal development is all this new stuff we learn about ourselves, right? We've taken the color code and like, whoa, I'm a red, whoa, I'm a blue. And all of a sudden we slap that label on ourselves. And then all of a sudden we start acting even more like what our color says. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. Or somebody type it in the little chat. And we use that as an excuse to not be something else. And although, yes, at the core of me, I am red, I am every other color, and I'm working on yellow. But my goal is to be an even circle of all the different colors, because that means you're more well-rounded. It really, really does. And that should be your goal, is to be a more well-rounded person. And the thing about personal development is it's really great because usually you're in a room of a bunch of people that really want to personally develop, right? And so it's a safe place. It's a safe place to get out of your comfort zone, and you can try out all this cool stuff on people because we're all on the same page. We all want to personally develop, and then we go home, or we jump out into the real world, or we go to work and we try to be our personally developed selves into the real world, and people are like, oh, hell no, you did not just try that on me. Any of you have that happen? Right, I know it's happened. And so my goal one day is to develop some kind of program that helps you transition into the real world. I think personal development is so great. It cracks you open. And many of you were part of a program I did back in April where we cracked the shell hard. We cracked your shell big time. And so many of you went into isolation for 6 weeks after that. Many of you did, including me. So I'm not immune to it. When we crack open and find out new things about ourselves and maybe old habits and patterns that have really for decades held us back from our biggest dreams and desires, sometimes we get so angry at ourselves we completely shut down. And I know many of you have done it. I have done it. Even as personally developed as I am, I have done it. And you know what? It doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't serve your vision board. It doesn't serve the people that need us. It doesn't serve your children. It doesn't serve your spouses. It doesn't serve the people that are going to come into your life and look you in the eyes and say, please help me. And so we're going to need to figure out, once we crack the shell open, how we move forward. And this is where a lot of you are stuck. Because you've been willing to crack it open, yeah? Raise your hand if you've been willing to crack it open. I know many of you have. Every hand is going up. And then all of a sudden you crack it open and you see what's there, and does it freak you out? Yes. And so because it's uncomfortable, you go back to old patterns, old habits, self-sabotage, isolation. We're going to stop that, right? Can we make that vow? If you do nothing else this 90-day game plan, can we vow not to do that anymore? Not to beat the crap out of ourselves with our guilt stick and our shame stick and our sabotage stick and our isolation stick. Enough is enough, you guys. Crack it open. Be willing to crack it open. And then even if it's tiptoeing forward, at least you're going forward. Please. I don't care about stars and circles. I really, really don't. That's not why I decided to do this Zoom. I knew very, very well what this Zoom for the 14 weeks was going to be about. It was about cracking you open and helping you move forward. And if you hit some stars and circles along the way, awesome. But if you're unwilling to crack it open and move forward, it doesn't matter, because you're never going to do it anyway. Because you'll eventually go back to the old ways because it's more comfortable. Many of you have done it. Okay? I have not even looked at my notes. We're not even coming close to what I was going to talk about, so I guess this is what God put on my heart today. All right. So many of you are faking it till you make it. You're acting like a leader, but you're really not there yet. And you know it, right? I see your posts. They're pretty darn good. I don't believe them. I really don't. A lot of them. Sometimes you just got to be really transparent and say, you know what? I don't have all the answers. I really don't have all the answers. I just got goosebumps saying that. Because I've done that in my own home even, like with my kids. You know, and a few years ago, my kids were looking at me like, what the heck are you up to, Mom? Like, what are we going to do? Are you going to be the role model? Because what you're role modeling right now is not what we want to be. And that was a hard pill to swallow. And I want you to know that at any moment you can make that shift. Not just in your family, but in your business, in your life, in your marriage, whatever. No more faking it. I hate that phrase, fake it till you make it. It's so awful. Like, why don't we just throw 800 masks on and just pretend like we got it all together? Such bullshit. It really, really is. I can't even stand it. There's no faking anything. Unless you really want to attract a bunch of fake people. If that's something appealing to you, by all means, keep doing it. How about we faith it till we make it, which means faith, which means I believe in myself. I believe I can do this. I believe that I can help people change their life aside from isogenics. How about by being a great person? How about by just loving people or opening the door for a little old lady or, opening a card or like anything. But then you got to get to work. So many of you are praying that this works, and then you sit back and wait. And when I mean work, it doesn't mean, sitting on Facebook all day. It means working on things that are uncomfortable for you. And I can't tell you what's uncomfortable for you and you and you and you and you, because each one of us has something that makes us really uncomfortable. What's uncomfortable for me is so comfortable for Lindsay Brzezinski that it's crazy. And what's really comfortable for me will make her crawl out of her skin. So I can't sit here and tell you what doing work is, but I'm going to tell you right now, if sitting on Facebook all day is what you do all day, that's probably what's really comfortable for you, and you should probably stop doing that. Especially if you aren't anywhere where you want to be in this business. Now, if getting out in public and looking people in the eye makes your skin crawl like it does me sometimes, that's probably what I should focus on, and it is. I make a conscious effort to leave my house every day, look people in the face, and actually talk to people. And I know a lot of you are probably surprised that that's hard for me, but it is. It is. It's very, very hard for me to relax. That was not modeled for me. We never took vacations when I was a kid, because if you're taking vacation, you're not working hard enough. And so for me, even when I take some time off, I'm working, because I just don't know what that looks like. And I'm trying, and I'm not trying. I'm doing it. I'm doing it anyway, even though I'm like, this is so weird. But I'm doing what's uncomfortable, because that's how we grow. Raise your hand if you got uncomfortable today, and be totally honest. Hold on, I'm making mental notes of who got uncomfortable. And I mean it. You better raise your hand, because I might call on you if you're telling the truth. You better bring something to the table if you got uncomfortable today. Andrea Kalecki, are you raising your hand, or are you just doing this? Okay, unmic yourself, because I want to hear what you did today that was uncomfortable.
Well, hello.
Hi, beautiful.
It's like my bedtime. I'm half asleep, but I will tell you what I've been doing. Actually, I made the decision. I have been comfortable going to the same gym for almost a year. And in the last 3 weeks, I've been trying some different things. So now I am going to Orange Theory Fitness. And I have just met a slew of new people. And I'm not throwing isogenics down their throat just yet, but I'm building relationships and talking with people. And, I met a nursing student today. So I'm not one that normally goes out and just starts chit-chatting with people, but I'm getting better at it.
I know.
And then another example was this past weekend. I was actually out to dinner with my husband. We were at the Kent State football game, went out to get something to eat after. And these ex-football players were sitting next to me. And we just started talking and chit-chatting. It's a young couple that hopes to get married, and now we're Facebook friends, and they want to take me to Tennessee. So I'm just trying to build relationships, because I feel that most people, everybody in my hometown knows I do isogenics, and there's so many other people doing isogenics. And for me, in order to grow, I've got to go out and meet new people. So if I have to change gyms every 3 or 4 months, that's what I'll do. But I actually love Orange Theory Fitness. It's addicting.
And And the good thing is there's like one on every corner, so you can.
Well, there's not one close to me yet, but it's coming.
That's awesome.
So I have to drive 45 minutes to get there, but it's worth it.
I am really proud of you because I know you're kind of like me. Like, you're good one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
You're not super comfortable. You're a lot like me when it comes to that. Like, you don't love chit-chatting and
No.
like that initial part, but once you do get to know somebody, you're awesome. And so I know that that's a big deal for you, and that's really, really great. And building relationships is what it's all about. So bravo.
It is, and sometimes we complicate it. It's really, I don't need to bring up Isogenics right away, So they're going to figure it out by watching me.
Absolutely, good job. That's awesome.
Thanks.
All right, who else had their hand up? Don't be afraid now that I'm going to call on you. I want you to tell the truth, because maybe raising your hand is super uncomfortable. All right, Robinson crew, Dawn and Renee. Dawn, Renee.
It's Renee.
I know, why do you have all those names on there?
I don't know.
I was like, wait a second, I know who that is.
So what did I do uncomfortable today? Well, I'm doing this part-time job at a bridal shop, which is a lot of fun, helping brides find their dresses of their dreams. Well, anyway, today I took my my shaker in, and I had my shake with me, and I walk in the break room, and there's the general manager and 2 other managers sitting there with 3 girls, and they're all like, "What is that?" So me hating to talk in front of a bunch of people, which to me that's more than what I'm comfortable with, I just told them what I was doing, and they were all like, "Do you have any information?" So I had some brochures and stuff in my purse, so I put them down on the table, but I was very uncomfortable.
That's a big deal for you.
It is.
Very, very good.
Yeah, I'm like you said, I'm better one-on-one, but if you get a bunch of people, I freeze.
I hear you. That was never something really comfortable for me, which is pretty ironic now that I can stand on a stage in front of 16,000 people and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Twice about it. But and even it's so funny because I don't know who said it about university in action. Oh, Lindsay, was it? I saw that little video you did or something, and talking about seeing me in action at the smaller events. And I am so much more comfortable. That's why I love University in Action so much, is because it is smaller. You do end up one-on-one with people. However, that is growing me too. Anymore I can stand up on a stage and kind of block everybody out, and that's kind of easier for me now. So it's kind of flip-flopped.
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of just go into autopilot and do that now. And what you're going to notice as you evolve yourself is what was comfortable for you in the beginning kind of becomes uncomfortable, and you're going to kind of have to go back and forth to finding new ways to make yourself uncomfortable. And so, it's very easy to kind of like look all across a room and not make eye contact sometimes. And sometimes that one-to-one looking in your soul is like, oh my goodness. Especially when we're talking about something as personal as our health and wellness. So I'm proud of you. That's a really big deal for you guys. So awesome.
Yeah. Some of them had their backs to me, and then when I started talking, they all flipped around. I was like, oh my gosh.
The little head turn. You're like, oh.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I said that too loud.
Okay.
Right? Awesome, you guys. Who else had their hand up? I know I saw 1 or 2 more at least. Come on, don't be shy. I'm looking at you. Alana. Yeah, I'm calling you, girl. Time for you to get uncomfortable. You've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me? Okay. Definitely uncomfortable. I'm, here raising my hand. Don't call me. You saw that. So you called me. Okay. Well, it's actually giving a little bit of the tough love that I feel you've given us that's helped us grow. It's helped me grow so much. Usually I'm just kind of like, oh, I understand. I get it. And kind of just coddle them. And I've realized through just experiencing with you and watching all of us grow with you, that it's not fair to them, to just not give them that little bit of tough love that they need. And what was kind of cool about it is that it's to see them kind of step back and kind of internalize that and say, okay, yeah, you know what, you're right. Like, why am I playing the victim? Stop, kind of watch them snap out of it a little bit and get that attitude like, okay, I can do this. Stop having the excuses, to own it as well. So that was the kind of conversations that are hard for me to have, especially when it comes to the ones I love a lot, because I'm afraid I'm going to scare them away. I'm going to hurt them, hurt their feelings. So it's just, and asking the right questions. For me, having conversations is hard, and learning to ask the right questions. And I feel like practicing that has put me out of my comfort zone, because it means a lot of following up, and that's something I'm not good at. I'm really good at attracting the initial, okay, what's going on here? But then in the follow-up, that's where it makes me uncomfortable. So for me, getting into the following up every day, even especially the scary people. So that's kind of what I've been working on, is giving a little bit of a tough love, trying to ask the right questions, but then also getting out of my comfort zone and following up with the scary people, the people that intimidate me the most. I think you taught that us from the very beginning when we're making our lists, go after the scary ones first. And that kind of has given me the confidence to continue with everybody else, and then also not take it personally. I think it's scary.
And I'm going to give you a little bit of advice, and I know many of you can relate to what Alana just says about, maybe you're afraid to dish out the tough love because you don't want to hurt people, or especially when it's people you really care about. And the key word in that tough love is love. And if you're coming from a place of love, like you said, you're not helping them or doing them any favors by coddling them and letting them fall back on promises they made to themselves. And I'm here to tell you that, yeah, in the beginning, people are going to be thrown off. They might get upset with you, but the more consistent you are in doing that, the easier it becomes. And quite honestly, people will come to you in the beginning because they know you're going to coddle them. So the first time you throw down some tough love, they're going to be like, what the heck? I didn't come here for this crap. This isn't the Alana that I knew. Because I remember when in the beginning, the people that knew me that had stuck around in my life, which were about 3 people, when I first started dishing out the tough love, they were like, what's this? And because I'm 100% consistent in that every day, one of 2 things happen. The ones that really want to grow will keep coming because they know they're going to get the truth 100%, even if it isn't what they want to hear. You've been one of them. Or, you know what? They know if they have a conversation with me, they're going to hear it. And so they just quit coming to me. And quite honestly, even if it's people I really care about, I can still love them, but it doesn't mean they have to be in my peer group. It doesn't mean that they have to be in my business. It doesn't mean that they want to hear the truth or want to grow. And that's totally okay. It's their journey, not mine. But the more consistent you are, what a beautiful thing happens is you're going to start attracting people that are ready to live in truth, that are ready to push past their comfort zone. But if you're flip-flopping and tough love one week and, oh, I'm so sorry about that. Oh, this is tough love. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. You know what? Nobody's going to believe any kind of that there's any kind of backbone there when it comes to this. So pick one way or the other and just go for it. Just know you're going to attract whatever you are. So pick wisely. And so stay in that. And people will get kind of upset at you sometimes. Many of you on this call have been upset with my tough love before. And then you come back month, 2, maybe a year later and say, you know what, I just wasn't ready to hear that yet, but I've been thinking about it for so-and-so. And thank you for being the only person in my life that would be honest with me. And so just know that even if they kind of push back and disown you for a little while, more often than not, they come back and thank you. And you're a big pivotal person in their life that helps them make a change. So don't quit on that, because, being a tough lover doesn't mean you have to be a jerk. And I was a jerk before, long before. But when you're always coming from a place of love, you never have to apologize for that, especially if they're asking. Especially if they're asking for your advice. If they're asking you for advice and expecting a pretty answer, then you're probably not the person they should talk to. I know that when people come and talk to me now, They know. They're like, okay, I'm ready for you. I'm ready. Bring it. You know, and that's the kind of person you want to talk to because they're ready to grow, right? Right? And that's working smarter, not harder. Because if you're coddling them, you know, have you heard the term the squeaky wheel gets the oil? You know, I can't, if you're squeaky, you are so not getting my oil. Like you're so not. Because that means you're doing a lot of this and not a lot of action. And so, you know, stay firm in that, Alana. I promise you, you will have a lot less headaches. You will have a lot less resentment and bitterness in this business. The reason a lot of you have resentment in doing this business is because you've coddled one too many times and now those people won't stop being needy, right? And you train them to do that. So you can untrain them. It just may come with some headaches along the way, but it's worth it. So, Alana, I'm proud of you, girl. How old's the baby now? 8 weeks?
2.5 months. It'll be 3 months on the 18th.
Gosh, time flies. That's crazy. See, she's doing this with a newborn. Love it. All right, one more. Who else has done something scary today? Raise your hands. Lock it. Don't be afraid. Jorge, unmute yourself. Let's hear you.
All right. Hey, everybody.
What'd you do scary today?
Oh, my gosh. I started a new job, and yesterday was the first day on the floor, and today I was kind of just trying to get acclimated to it. And this guy, they call him Little Hitler.
Oh.
So I've been really wrestling with myself and thinking how I'm going to treat this guy. Am I just going to, because everyone says, just don't even talk to him. Just whatever you do, don't talk to him. Don't try to be nice to him. So I've really been wrestling with myself all day and just kind of trying to keep that crazy train from just taking over, you know, and just, you know, kind of wanting to quit, just give up. So I really struggle with that, and just really honestly, I've been praying in my head all day long. Just every time I start to get those thinking, I just tell myself, no. You know, the healthy mind and body is huge. When you're the physical side, you know, what you say to yourself. Like I physically have to like pray out loud in my car because I feel like I'm just being attacked, because I know that I'm pursuing my greatness, and there's going to be you know, entities or things that are going to try to stop me from that. And I've seen that from a lot of friends, people that are trying to get to become who they're supposed to be. And, you know, it's just about continuing to move on and keep going. For me, the scariest thing is the thing I really struggle with is not so much talking to people or anything like that. It's my personal growth. And the fear of having that success that one day I may, you know, become one of the big leaders in this company. So, you know, with doing the healthy mind and body, exercising, you know, continuing to develop myself, that's really been huge. So today I was just really struggling, you know, just wanting to think maybe, yeah, go ahead.
Why does it scare you to be successful?
That's a good question. It's probably because I've always felt like I'm not worth it.
Are you kind of afraid that if you actually are successful, people will rely on you and you can't go back to your old ways?
I can't go back to my old ways anyways.
I know.
I feel like I can never go back. I've already began the journey. So to me, there isn't any going back. I can only go forward, because if I'm stagnant, then I'm really just going backwards anyways. So whether or not I'm faith it, not fake it, I'm faithing it till I make it, because I know that my Creator made me for a purpose, and I know that I have thousands of people that I need to bless, and I'm becoming who I'm supposed to be. And you know, I post it all the time, and I mean it bottom of my heart. If it wasn't for Isogenics, you know, who knows where I'd be? I'd be back that depressed guy that kind of just gave up on life, and just it's kind of like you're just going day by day with absolutely no purpose. not knowing what the next day is going to bring, but it wouldn't matter anyways because there's nothing to look forward to. So now I have so much to look forward to, and these challenges, like for me, it is a challenge, and it was tough today. But towards the end of the day, I don't know what happened. He kind of opened up to me. Yeah, I was praying like crazy and asking God to, to fill my heart and, for the Holy Spirit to fill me and let me be a vessel to others. So at the end of the day, it wasn't so bad. And, I look forward to tomorrow. And, I'm not going to be that person that just sits at my desk and just does what I'm told. I'm not. I'm going to share with them, and I'm going to try to be nice to him. And I'm going to be who I am and who God made me to be.
You know what? You keep spreading your love and light, and you know what? I think that's just what he's craving. He sounds like me before, like just throwing out intimidation.
Oh my gosh.
Like just throwing up big old walls so nobody will talk to him. But you just keep being your love and light, and I have a feeling you're going to bless this guy in ways that you don't even know, like really, for real. So I'm really proud of you, honey.
Thank you.
I'm really proud of you. All right, I'm going to do one more because this one, it's been tugging on my heart. Connie Reese, why don't you just unmute yourself? Connie. Hi.
Hey, sorry about that.
Are you sick? Or are you crying? Because I've been
No, a little bit of both. No, my allergies, and then, yeah, you got me.
What part?
Just talking about sharing my vision, like, just helping other autism families. I feel like it's very sacred to me, so I am really scared talking about it to other people. So I just feel like it's such a special place in my heart that if anybody comes at me negatively about it, then it's really gonna be hard for me to deal with, and then I just withdraw.
Mm-hmm. What's harder to deal with, that or not doing what you said you were going to do?
Definitely looking at my daughter and knowing what I need to do for her and for the rest of my kids, and while she's crawling around my office, that she needs more than I'm giving her right now. And so just not doing it is hurting more.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I don't wish pain or hurt on anybody, but sometimes when we get to our deepest hurts is where we have our biggest breakthroughs. So, playing small will never serve you or your beautiful family. And you are such a light that you playing small is basically telling us that we have permission to play small because you are such a bright light. So please don't. Please don't. You're so special. So many people deserve to have your light in their life. And so when the people come at you trying to dim it, you just shine brighter, okay? Please. Okay? Can you just make me that promise, even when it's hard? Think about how hard it is to not have your daughter having what she really needs. Like, that's way harder than this stuff, than people being negative Nellies and all that, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm proud of you. I know this is a big growth process for you.
Definitely.
2 years, 2.5 years now?
Yeah, January will be 3.
Crazy. I appreciate you. Always.
Appreciate you. Love you. Thank you.
Okay, so one other thing that we're going to talk about is time management. And, I'm following along the 90-day game plan thing that they have with our company. However, this time management thing I'm going to talk about is really, really a big deal. And I'm going to talk about it because it's where I struggle the most. And this is about balance. And I kind of shared earlier that, I have a hard time relaxing because it was never modeled for me. If you weren't working, you were lazy. If you weren't, and I'm grateful for it not being modeled for me at some point because it's how I got my work ethic. So there are some positives to that. However, if you are unbalanced, that is not good. There are so many workaholics out there that have zero fulfillment in their lives. Thank goodness I have some fulfillment in my life by the people that are in it, thank goodness. But there is something missing for me. There really, really is. And I know many of you are probably looking at me like, really, Tracy, shut up. Like, really, we would trade places with you any day. I get that. I get that, because if somebody said what I'm saying in the position I am at 4 years ago, I probably would have punched them in the face. So I get it. If you want to punch me in the face, totally okay. However, if you are not balanced, that is not good. And if you think hitting a certain goal, a certain dollar amount, a certain anything is the end all be all, I'm going to tell you right now, you are sadly mistaken. There is no there. There is no there. That once you get there, all of a sudden everything gets easier, because it doesn't. You just have a whole different set of challenges. And because balance wasn't modeled for me, this is a huge, huge struggle in my life. And time management is one of those, because if I'm work, next thing I know, 3 days have passed. I'm lucky if I've washed my hair. I did today. I washed it today. But taking care of me is a struggle. It really, really is. And so when it comes to time management, I can time block all day long. I can time block back to back calls with Zooms here and there. I can do a Facebook post at this time. I can, business, boom, I got it on lockdown. And as far as the kids go, boom, I got it on lockdown. And the next thing you know, there's been no Tracy time. And that doesn't mean, some of you are really good at making time for yourselves. That's awesome. So you have to balance structuring your workday. I don't have that problem, but I have severe problems making and time blocking time for me. I somehow get it done, but it's never a priority. It's never scheduled in. And so if anything's going to take a back seat, it's that. And quite honestly, that's a really slippery slope, because that's what got me into the mess I was in to begin with. Right? Many of us started Isogenics because we weren't taking care of ourselves. Most of us, almost probably 100% of us on this call, started for the products because physically, health-wise, something wasn't right. Right? I started Isogenics because I felt like a truck hit me every day. Not a really good place to be. And that was because of the lack of balance. Granted, I had a lot of other stresses in my life, which I've cleared out. However, a year and a half ago, my health took a horrible turn for the worse. Really bad. Like almost worse than when I started Isogenics. And it's because of the lack of balance. And so I had to work really, really hard on this. And this is huge. Like, I am so uncomfortable putting it in my calendar. Like, you have no idea, for me, the anxiety, the sweat. I mean, I have heart palpitations even talking to you guys about it, because now I'm putting it out there, so now I have to do it. This is part of why I'm telling you all this. Is so I'm like, because put it out there, because now I got to walk the walk I talk. So shit, now I got to do it every day. So time blocking for me, I have 3 different categories for Tracy time, and they are broken into 3 categories. Like how in the early weeks that I had the 3 notebooks, remember the brain dump, right? The inspiration stuff, gratitude, right? 3 notebooks. Well, I have 3 different categories that I time block for myself now. And I'm telling you, like, I was sitting in front of somebody the other day and I wanted to puke. Like, I couldn't put it on paper. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it. And I couldn't understand why it was so hard for me. Like, it felt so selfish, and it's so not. You can't give what you don't have. So the 3 categories now that I plug into my calendar every day, at some point, someday, it's not the same time every day, because my life is, I don't like routine all the time. I like routine, but not at the same time every day. I'm just weird. But I have to have routine. And being off of it for the last 11 or 12 days has really thrown me in a little tizzy. But the 3 categories that I have, and I recommend you guys do it too, for yourself. For me, I need about 45 minutes in each category. So that's about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours every day that I get a little Tracy time. And now for many of you, you're like, that would be nice to get 2 hours a day for me. And I totally get that. But I know many of you are on Facebook a lot of that time. I know many of you watch TV. I know many of you watch that stupid election stuff that really is just chaos. So instead of doing that, how about you take a little bit of you time? And the 3 categories I have are mind, body, spirit. Boom. 45 minutes spent working my mind. Sometimes it's a podcast. Sometimes it's journaling. Sometimes it's listening to something and taking madman notes. That's mind. Anything that grows my mind or puts some really good stuff in it that like, oh, even if I get one nugget out of that 45 minutes, it's a huge productive day. Body doesn't necessarily mean the gym for me. For me, because of some of the health issues I've had, the gym has been counterproductive. And so I have to do other things with my body. Sometimes it means just walking outside. Sometimes it means running around in circles in my backyard with the crazy dog. It doesn't matter. Some way to move my body with no electronics tied to it. Unless it's just music, not my phone. I have a separate iPod without a phone attached to it. If you don't have that, go invest in a $100 iPod or an MP3 player that is not attached to your phone. Because if you're like me and try to listen to your music on the phone, it just doesn't work. I'm telling you right now, it just doesn't. So don't do that. Move your body 45 minutes a day. Doesn't have to be a hardcore gym sesh. Just do something that is not tied to anything but you being with yourself. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's just stretching. Maybe it's namaste in the shavasana position for 45 minutes. I love that part of yoga. It's my favorite part. I'd go every day if it was just that. Like seriously, I love that. 45 minutes a day for that. And like I said, for your life, this may be different. And then spirit. My faith is everything, and it's first and foremost for me in everything I do. Whatever your beliefs are, whatever you find that you pull inspiration from, whatever when things get hard, you turn to, that is your faith moment. For me, it's always God. And so I will listen to sermons. With technology the way it is today, you've got it at your fingertips all day long. But I put the word of God in my ears 45 minutes a day. And when I don't, trust me, I feel it. And everybody around me does too. And so it's really, really important for me. Either I'm in the book of the word or I'm listening to the word or something else. And you know what? When I schedule those in and I actually do it, everything seems to just go a lot better. And again, when we're on the airplane, you got to put your oxygen mask on first, always. And I'm so guilty of this. I'm a go, 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 get her done kind of girl. And the next thing you know, I can't even breathe. And that's what happened to me a year and a half ago. And it's been a very slow process to not just rebuild my health, but rebuild my mind and the thought process behind all of it. And it was like eating a huge, 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 big old thing of humble pie. Okay? So many of you are preaching health and wellness, but are you really taking care of you too? Now, balance is the key, because it's like, oh, sweet, Tracy just gave me 2.5 hours to just take from me. I don't have to make calls. I don't have to meet new people. I don't have to get uncomfortable. No, that's not true. The key is finding the balance to fit it all in. And I know many of you have full-time jobs, full-time families, and you're like, and you're already checking out. You're like, forget it. This isn't for me. I can't do it. I can't do it. Don't talk yourself out of it. You'd be surprised how much extra time you have in your day if you shut off your TV. You really would. Or if you put a timer when you're on social media and then end it. I spent so much less time on Facebook, and since we were in Vancouver, I wasn't even on Facebook like for 4 days in a row other than to do like a call or something. And it was so nice. So nice. Yes, we're building our business and using Facebook, and it's really important. We're loving on our people. However, many of us are wasting time on it. Use that time to fill your cup up first. You can't pour out of your cup into other people if yours is empty and dry. And if you get nothing else from me, especially those of you workaholic type A, were never modeled relaxation, or if you were told relaxation was lazy, or you like that is, I'm grateful for it in some ways, but I'm telling you right now, you have to find the balance. You have to. I don't want a bunch of me. I really, really don't, because that's exhausting. It's exhausting. And I'm a much more effective educator and teacher when I am taking care of me, I am much healthier. And because I'm taking care of myself, I can do more in a shorter period of time, which frees up more time to sit in my uncomfortable, lazy time. So crazy. How crazy is that? That I'm so uncomfortable in the quiet sometimes. Anybody else, or is that just me? Am I the only lunatic here? Okay, good. We got a few lunatics in the crowd. I bet you're all color-coded red, right? Most of you, I would assume. So take care of yourself. I'm telling you right now, balance is the key. And the key to balance is blocking this into your calendar. If you're a paper and pencil kind of person, you know what, I've started writing things down, and I know that a lot of us rely on technology. Even when we're taking notes on something, we'll sit with our laptop and take notes. I'm telling you, get a pen and a paper and a notebook. There is so much power in the process time from your brain to the paper. There is. And seeing your own handwriting, and because my brain thinks so much faster than my handwriting, I get so frustrated because I like neat handwriting, and my handwriting is atrocious right now because it's like, I can't get it down fast enough. Write things down, every thought, make it messy. You type A people, this is really hard for you to do, but it is a game changer. Who cares if it's not like bullet pointed right and hot? Who cares? Just scribble it all down. It is so powerful. And this is part of taking care of yourself. This is part of taking care of yourself. That's uncomfortable for some of you. Anybody uncomfortable with this? Like, oh my God, I'm out. Peace out, Trace. And for those of you that you're like, this is a piece of cake, then I'm going to challenge you to do something a little scarier. How about you work a little harder? How about you make some phone calls? How about you do something else that makes you really uncomfortable? I know for some of you, you're probably like, this is insane. She's crazy. And that's okay. I know I am. So I'm a work in progress every day. The good news is I'm doing it in front of all of you, so I'm super relatable and I'm super duplicatable. Isn't that awesome? That we can be super successful, super duplicatable, super transparent all at the same time? Is that so scary? It doesn't have to be. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And that I can tell you for sure. So that's what I got for tonight. I'm going to end back on being unreasonable. Any of you have some really, really big goals that maybe you've silenced a little bit from the last 7 weeks? You had big, big things on your vision board and other things have taken priority over that. Is there anybody that's done that? And now you're all afraid to raise your hand because you're like, oh crap. Sandy Clements, unmute yourself.
How did I know you were going to call on me?
Because I'm brilliant.
Yeah, I definitely have felt that over the last few weeks. I let my full-time job, obviously it's important, but I've let it kind of take over and kind of put dreams and goals with my isogenics business and everything to the side. And it makes me sad because I work from home and I have my vision board right there as I'm working all day long, and I look at it and, it's nagging at me, but I feel this like dichotomy in me where I'm working with my corporate job and feel pressure there. And then I feel pressure to, achieve all these goals that I've put out there. And it's really scary. I'm not going to lie. It's scary.
It is. What's the scariest part about it for you?
I mean, everything you were saying earlier, I felt like you were speaking to me. I'm scared of people being mad at me or being judging me, or, why am I going for this big dream when I have a comfortable job and, I'm providing for my family. But that's what my family we've always been hard workers. We're 9 to 5 kind of people. They're not network marketers. I don't have anybody in my family that does network marketing. And so to kind of step out of that mindset is tough. It's against everything that I've been raised with, and I'm struggling with that and pushing out of that comfort zone.
I'm really grateful that you said that, because for a lot of us, for most of us, including me, we are the first in our family to be in network marketing. And even though I've had some success at this, a lot of my family still doesn't understand. They think I should shut up on Facebook, and I get that. They think enough, and I get that. And when I think back that if I had let that silence me, the number of people that wouldn't have had their lives changed as a result of just me going first. I am in no means taking any credit for anybody's success. However, it took one of us to go first in order for that chain reaction to start, and that was me. And I want you to think about this, Sandy, like when you're looking at your vision board or you're worried about what somebody's going to say, I want you to think about that post that was made today by Rebecca. And I want you to think about what her life would look like had you not been willing to go first and been willing to push outside the comfort zone and been willing to, take the hits that are coming at you sometimes because people don't maybe necessarily understand what we're doing. Can you imagine what her life would be like today without you sharing this with her? Think about it. Like talk about that out loud. What does that look like for her?
Yeah.
In her life.
And that got to me when I read that today. I mean, I literally was sitting there, in the middle of my workday reading that going, this is why I'm doing this. Whether it's going to take me 2 years, 20 years, whatever, this is why I'm doing it. Because I want to help people. And her life has changed because of something that I did first. And how do I not share that? How do I hide this away and be selfish with it when there's so many people out there to bless and so many people who need this in their lives? And that's what it's about to me. And so thank you for bringing that up because it really did touch me. And after I read that, I thought, all right, I need to get my ass in gear and I need to get it together and just stop worrying about what everybody else is thinking and just go for it.
And here's the thing with that, and because I know so many of you have full-time jobs and full-time families, I am in no means saying you have to go balls to the wall all day, every day doing this. However, you have to 100% be consistent, even if it's only 30 minutes a day, every day. And you can do this from anywhere. So there's really no reason why you can't. Consistency is everything. It does no good to be all in for 5 days in a row and then take 2 weeks off. People don't do well with uncertainty. And consistency is the number one way to help them know that you're going to be there through this, no matter what, even if it is 30 minutes a day. So for those of you that you wonder how you're going to manage it all, block in 30 minutes a day and be non-negotiable and unreasonable with that time. Your people that you've brought in or the ones that need you to be consistent. They need you to show them the way. And it comes to being unreasonable with that. Sandy, I'm super proud of you. I know that you've got a lot going on and you've stayed in the game, and the people that brought you in kind of fell off and are nowhere to be found too. And sometimes when that happens, if that's somebody that like you that's had that happen to, where all of a sudden you feel like you're on this island by yourself, and to keep pushing forward shows a lot more guts and courage. And so I do know how hard that is, but it is not an excuse to stop.
Yep.
It never is. Because if I chose to do that, Lord knows where I would be. You are responsible for you and you're taking charge. Keep going. Because when I think about you, Sandy, and the lives that you are destined to bless, even the ones you already have, they need you. And they need you to go first. You guys, everybody on this Zoom call, people are waiting for you to go first. Somebody has to. Somebody has to. And a lot of you don't want to. You want the reward, but you don't want to do the work. You want the reward, but you don't want to get uncomfortable. You want to be the 2%, but you don't want to really. So go first, and that means, keeping your commitment and staying consistent. So that's what I got for you tonight. If you guys have some questions, or we got about 5 minutes, I know I kind of put the heavy on you tonight. I think it was necessary. We're at the halfway point, a little bit more of our 90-day game plan. And like I said, I'm not focusing on any stars or circles. I'm really not. Because if you grow through this 90 days, that is a win. That is a win. And so many of you are fixated on the stars and circles, and you're using that as a method to applaud yourself or beat the crap out of yourself. And I want you to know that that is not a reflection of your growth. Okay? But you need to be really, really honest with yourself. You need to be really, really, really honest with yourself. Okay? You know, write stuff down, you know, areas that you have to work on. You know, find somebody to be accountable with. Not me. So before you flood my inbox, it doesn't have to be me. But you need to find somebody that's going to call you to the carpet and say, hey, remember when you said you were going to do this? Remember you said you were going to be unreasonable about this. Where the heck are you? Where the heck are you? Has anybody got anything? Or you just want me to just get the heck off this TV? You're like, totally. If you got a question, you can unmute yourself and just let it all out. And if you just want to say whatever you want to say, you know, this is a safe place. Even though it's a place of tough love, it is a safe place. Full of love.
Tracy, can you hear me?
Who is that?
Nicole.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you? Nice to meet you.
I'm good. Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm the only one who feels this way, but navigating leadership and walking into leadership as you grow into it is a little bit lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, for someone like me who loves people and loves to be surrounded with people, finding my boundaries with the people that that are on the team is just kind of, I'm finding it lonely.
Can you hold your phone closer to you because I'm getting a lot of like weird noises?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm out in a park.
No, it's okay. It's true. It is kind of lonely in leadership. I'm gonna mute you for a second. It's really okay. Oh, it's not you. Okay, hold on, because this is a really good question, and I think this is really important to talk about. Hold on. All right, Nicole, you there?
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's a great point. And I think this is where a lot of people that step into leadership all of a sudden pull back. And I know, even though I don't love necessarily being around a lot of people, I do love people. And I know that sometimes when we are holding people accountable and have healthy boundaries and, you know, stand in our truth and walk the walk we talk, that people that we love sometimes are like, whoa, okay. Or if they know that we're going to hold them accountable, all of a sudden the phone stops ringing. All of a sudden we stop getting invited places. All of a sudden people are like, yeah, I don't want her around to giving me all this truth when I just want to go see a movie. Right? And, you know, it is hard, but we're going to choose our hard, because living the life that you used to live is a lot harder than this loneliness that maybe you're feeling right now. And I want you to know that, I mean, you know this, that it's way more important to be trusted and respected than necessarily liked. And that one's that's hard to swallow sometimes, because nobody wants to feel like people don't want to be around us as we step into our greatness. But that's life. That's life. And sometimes we have to evaluate who we've been surrounding ourselves with. If all of a sudden, when we step into this power of beautiful, amazing love and light, if all of a sudden these people go, then we have to re-examine why they were in our life to begin with. And that's sometimes difficult. And it's okay. That means we're growing. Doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean it's fun. It doesn't mean it's comfortable. And it is super lonely at times. I mean, you and I have had some conversations about that. And it is hard. But I want you to know you're doing the right thing. And you're showing your kids that example too, which is way more important than who shows up. Your children, your amazing, beautiful kids are watching you. And the example you are setting for them, I've seen the shift in your kids. Even in the short time that I've been around you, I've seen it. That is way better than having something to do on a Friday night. That's building a legacy for your entire family. And them having the example that maybe you were setting before is way harder than being lonely. And I know you know that, but it doesn't make that feeling when we're in it go away. Then you call me, because I'm with you. Or, I get it. Or you just maybe send me a text or, hey, I'm feeling that leadership lonely moment right now. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, good, keep doing it. Keep doing it. It means you're helping people. You're helping people grow. Alana said it earlier, we're not doing them any favors by coddling. And I know that you've worked really hard because you are a tough love kind of girl. And you have balanced the love with the toughness. And it's beautiful. And because you've kind of changed the rules on the people you've had in your life, they don't know what to do with it. And I had that happen a lot. And it's hard. But I know that living the life that you were living 2 years ago is way harder than this.
It is.
And so you're just going to keep, and you know what, you're going to start attracting different kind of people that you'll have a big old tough love sesh and, you'll go climb a mountain at the same time. And it's a beautiful thing. So we're going to go get dirty with each other. And
that could be taken the wrong way.
You know what I mean? Mud.
I do.
Mud and trucks, not like anything else, but I'm super proud of you. Anybody else have something else they want to say? Did that help you at all, Nicole?
It did. Yeah. It's like I said, it's there. I had to do something that really upset someone else, and just I'm softer than people think, and she no longer will speak to me, and it wasn't done hurtful or malice, but it hurts to think that someone saw something that wasn't there. They took something that I did that was not meant the way she took it, but it hurts because I don't like to hurt anybody.
Well, usually when that happens, it's usually because you're shining a reflection of somebody that they have a possibility of being, that they know they're not willing to do the work to get there. So in order to have it, it's easier for them to just block you out than to have to face that every day. That's usually what that's about, usually. It's hard. That's kind of why I believe when I started really making changes in my life about a month in, the two people that were the most important to me other than my children walked out on the same day, because I was like this big shiny mirror that they were not ready to look in yet. And you know what? It's totally okay. It was not going to make me diminish what I was being in order to satisfy them. If you want to walk. And you know what? If you guys haven't read the poem Season, Reason, Lifetime, Google it. Because many of you will experience this, especially as you grow yourselves. Season, reason, lifetime. If you Google it, it pops up. It's very, very easy to find on Google. But that kind of helps you evaluate when things happen. And you are definitely going to know your lifetime people when you read this. It'll make a lot more sense. So know that everybody's got a part of the story. And you know what? Just because people have spent a lot of time in your life doesn't mean they're going to be there for all of it. And that's okay. They're there to teach you something along the way. And you find gratitude in it, and you appreciate it. Even the people that hurt me the most and walked out unexpectedly, I am so grateful for their part of my story and they're part of my journey, because they taught me a heck of a lot, and I wish them nothing but the best. And I know my lifetime people that are here for the long haul, and they're the ones that are going to call me to the carpet every day. So I'm one of your lifetime people, so don't you forget it. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, you beautiful people. I know there were some more questions. Save them for next time. We'll touch it. Adriana, I know what you're talking about. Okay, I'm going to touch this one now because I think that's an important one. I'll give it a few more minutes. You said some of us think we are leaders, but we are not. How do you know if you are? If you have any doubt that you can do this, you are still a leader, but you're not quite there yet. If you talk a good game, but in your gut, you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. You're not quite there yet. Doesn't mean you're most of the way. You're most of the way there, because you're at least pushing yourself forward. In my opinion, you are a leader, but an unapologetic, unreasonable leader believes with everything they got that they're doing this, that nobody, nothing, no life circumstance can shake you. That is the only difference. It's one little bit, but it's a huge difference. Does that make sense? Does that help you? Doesn't mean you're not a leader. You've got it. You've got it. But the unshakable, unreasonable leader, that's the difference. Okay? Does that help? I'm looking at you. Did that help any of you other than Adriana? I hope so. Awesome. I love you guys. I love you guys. You make my Monday/Tuesday nights. So we'll be back to Monday next week. I am grateful that you guys gave me a little grace. I was on an airplane yesterday at this time, so we had to move it to tonight. So I look forward to seeing you next Monday. Come ready with some questions or maybe anything that you want to yell at me for or challenge me on even. Paul Jenkins, you just calm down. Calm down. I love you guys. You make me a better person every day. So I'm grateful for each and every one of you. I love you. Keep going. I believe in you. Stay consistent. Stay unreasonable. And just go for it. All right? Love you. Peace out.